Kevin's late
considering I'm
because of
normally
white
10 minutes
privilege.
late.
Yeah, speaking of times, that's kind of what I wanted to lead with. I've been, well, lately I have not been ending our sessions on time, exactly. I know that. I'm working on it. But also, even at the time that we usually would end, and this is something that has been happening ever since before our sort of break, I noticed that sometimes by like the last hour of session, people are already kind of like sleepy and kind of like dozing off. Like I feel like they're even me to be honest. Like I feel like often we have to later kind of rectify a few things that happen at the end of session because people are a little too sleepy to role play right or to remember details about either the story or mechanics or characters, etc. So I'm kind of thinking like so this semester I'm going to reorganize my schedule and I'm not going to have the thing that I usually did before D&D on Wednesdays, which I always like left and came rushing home and always had to like basically get food done and hop on immediately. So I would be able to start session like earlier, like significantly earlier. So I am wondering how much earlier we could start from the time that we are starting right now, because I feel like it would probably be a little bit better for everyone, really, like everyone's health and role-playing capacity if we would be able to start a little earlier and also end earlier, or when we absolutely need to push further, like it wouldn't just kill everyone.
I know for me, I might struggle to make it on time, but I mean, I could always just jump in when I can because I don't always, get out of work on a reasonable time.
I do believe 7 p.m. for me is also usually the earliest, which is 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
Like on weekdays at least. I don't finish earlier than that.
This is Laura's fault. I didn't.
Literally, what did I say? Laura said nothing. Taka just like laughed. What is happening?
Usually I don't finish earlier.
Like, no, I take my time with it. I'm well known for that.
Anyway, next.
Well, I'm going based off those two. I don't think it matters what my answer is.
Yeah, like if everyone could go with like I think it was the original time that we started anyway. Before I had to push it like 15 minutes or later because it started becoming impossible for me to be here physically. So if we could just like revert back to that, and that's pretty much like the maximum it could go, like that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I can usually work is getting better, but it's like 6 is probably I could mostly be here by 6 to 6:30ish usually.
All right.
So I'll try and just give a heads up if I think I'm going to be pushing late on the days that it happens.
I mean, I can manage that.
Okay. Can anyone not manage 15 minutes earlier? AKA usual, original time?
Like 20 minutes ago?
Yeah, 20 minutes ago.
That's fine for me.
Okay with me.
And I should add on, I'm usually fine once we get to like 10:30 and stuff, but once it goes past 11, that's when I start perishing.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna try to start session as on time as possible. So we can also have some, playtime and things don't take forever. And also try to end on. Oh, I should start the event. Event start. And also try to end relatively on time, because that's also for my own benefit. Well, with that in mind, let's just jump right into it. Last
The
session we
music,
had
white boy.
He did hit the music.
Immediately. In music. Sorry.
I literally
Musically.
was getting ready to join.
Music,
The,
music,
the
boy.
white boy just dropped it.
Yep. Play that funky
Play that
music,
funky
white
music,
boy.
white boy.
Anyway, last session we had our little boys excursion to the graveyard,
No boys.
where a number of shenanigans were had. Noah and Mizell encountered the gravekeeper of the Great Helmian grave. They had a little bit of an interaction with him, didn't push too much further once he sort of blocked their passage. They then proceeded to back up a little bit and spend considerable effort climbing up the wall to then be able to drop into the graveyard from above. In the process of doing this, they found a bag with certain with like many metal contraptions, assorted metal contraptions, one of which they brought with them for further inspection, and they did a little bit of an analysis of the graveyard, finding a few traces, a few unsettling things, seeing one woman tending to flowers apparently in the middle of winter, as more than one stated. He seemed pretty hung on that fact.
It had to be known.
Yes, indeed.
I was turning straight.
After some investigation, some digging, they decided to call it quits, as some unsettling events seemed to be unfolding around them, and they were a little apprehensive about the mausoleum that lies sort of like at the heart of the graveyard cemetery. They regrouped with the rest of the party, and collectively they decided to retreat into their abode, take a little bit of a rest, spend the afternoon preparing, to then at night perform a complete, a more thorough incursion into the graveyard and find whatever they could there. Over the course of this period, Noah and Iluna analyzed the metal shard that was found in the cemetery. I sort of like resolved the intelligence checks. There was not much said after that, so if you guys wanted to go back to that later and discuss something about it, like, that's fine. But at any rate, the where we ended last session was, as you guys were making your way through the streets of Great Helm, sort of like beginning to head in the direction of the gate, where you would then head to the graveyard. I think that was the plan, right? Or did you guys want to actually hop over the wall again?
Well, we ended with Mr.
We ended with,
Marco and
our
Dranen
boy.
walking
No,
out.
I know.
Of the
I'm just asking.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah,
for
yeah.
clarification. Okay, you guys
Yeah.
were headed to the gate.
Yes. Well, no, I don't know if I think yes, gate. Right? I think I remember Iluna saying not to
Were
worry
we gonna
about
leave,
the
like,
gate.
Were we gonna leave like normal people?
Yeah,
I think that was
so.
the idea.
Yeah.
Well, there's still the guard at the front that we have to account for.
I believe Iluna mentioned that we shouldn't worry about him, and it seems as though the guards are not actually enforcing any kind of
Yes.
What's the word?
Curfew.
Curfew.
But the one at the entrance to the graveyard is certainly enforcing no entrance.
As I
Well,
said,
yes.
Iluna mentioned not to worry.
Okay.
Well,
Are we not just going to knock him out or sneak by him?
I think we should kill him. What do you say?
Stop that.
That's a very rapid escalation.
I was thinking we should do some more reconnaissance before we barge in and destroy whatever's in our path, but
Some arcana sense?
Well, that is a
Something like
discussion you
that.
guys can
That was
resume
given the
later.
appropriate amount of silence.
You guys presumably had this conversation, but where we actually ended the session, just
Can
because I don't
I-
want to just like retcon the whole thing because you guys decided to talk and do something else. We ended the session with you guys going through the streets, and by chance, like one individual was kicked out of a certain tavern that you were passing by. According to the person who kicked him out is because he's had a little bit too much to drink and should come back the next day. If anyone wants me to repeat the description of him, in case it didn't like really stick with him, I can do so. But both Noah and Rala have identified this man as sort of like fairly richly dressed and handsome looking, but a little bit older in his years. Fellow who is the renowned author Marco Windernen. He is currently kind of like resting on the pavement, like probably his butt kind of sore.
He's butthurt.
Yeah, he kind of like fell on his butt, and it's kind of like caressing, kind of like, oh. And he looks towards a lot of you, who are like 5 individuals of many different sizes and statures, and goes like, good evening.
Rough night.
Master Windrannen, it is such an honor
Master.
to meet you.
He sort of like begins sloppily like getting his bearings, like getting up and everything. Like he stumbles a little like up to his feet. Like, I'm sorry. Have we met?
Well, we haven't met in person, but I have consumed all of your work. Every last book. Yes, it is absolutely breathtaking. Well, I don't breathe, but it is absolutely marvelous what you're able to do with words and the feelings and emotions that you're able to evoke just through description and writing. It is, and I'm just gonna be rambling for probably an unhealthy and obnoxious amount of time here.
Lilia's gonna look at Luna and just be like, whose man's is this?
She'll lean over. She's like, how like Noah's always trying to get you to read more books, and like he's always talking about like an author that he loves. This is the guy.
Oh, does that also mean that Rala?
No, he just talked about it a whole bunch. He kept trying to get me to read it. But
Oh, not so. It's not this series. It's a different one.
no.
No.
The conflicting accents is gonna be so much fun.
No.
Yeah, listening to you two talk to each other is a real trip sometimes, honestly.
It's really hard to not pick up the wrong accent.
What you gonna do? I don't know.
Marco's kind of like, that's very flattering to hear. Thank you very much for your words, and I'm going to just gloss over that bit where you said you don't breathe. I think for both of our sakes. You don't look like you're from around here. I'm sorry. Well, he turns towards the rest of you like, well, the young man here certainly seems to know me already, but to introduce myself formally to his friends, my name is Marco Windernen. I am a book author. It is a pleasure to make acquaintance of the lot of you. And he does like this kind of like flourish. It's a little unsteady, like but he kind of like bows, and he seems to be, how do I put this? He's not creepy about it, but he's doing it in the girl's direction.
Does he appear to be intoxicated as like he was kicked out of the bar for?
Give me an insight check.
I love those.
I use lay on hands.
He suddenly becomes a paladin just out of his fierce devotion to literature. The oath of books.
The oath of Margot.
33.
Nope.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
Not even a natural 20. Loser.
You look at him doing this sort of like reverence.
Oh, it is. Never mind.
And he does take like a little bit of a stumble, like it's a little wobbly, but also as you were sort of like not engaging in interaction quite yet, just observing, you catch that some of this, it's not fully uncontrolled like usually people are when they're drunk. It seems like he's exaggerating it, at least to some degree. It doesn't seem like he's stumbling because he's actually, incapable of not stumbling. It feels more like his... I'm not gonna say like playing a character. It's not to that level, but it's a little forced. More like he's trying to look drunk, more so than being like super drunk.
And does he have the same aura as the rest of the town?
Are you gonna cast detect magic?
I am subtly.
Okay. As you do that, in the middle of his motion, as he's sort of straightening himself, and as you take a moment to do this, like I'm gonna give you the rest of the description, but since you're stopping for a few seconds to analyze him, he is in the process of turning to everyone like, well, and I'm afraid I didn't catch the rest of your names, but you look at him, and he doesn't actually have any sort of magical aura about him on his body. However, if you recall, he wears like pretty fancy clothes, though they are a little stained right now due to, street stuff. He also has some jewelry on him, a good number of jewelry actually, and 2 pieces of jewelry seem to be emitting a magical aura. There is a sort of like a pendant that is dangling from a necklace around his, neck, that is emitting a very faint magical aura. It's not a lot of energy. It's probably a very simple spell. And there is one ring on one of his hands that is emitting a more pronounced ethereal signature. You can feel like a sort of density to it that is indicative of a more powerful magical item.
Can I tell what schools of magic they are?
It seems to be... It's of arcane nature in terms of like the magical alignments, and is something in the realm of like protection and blocking things.
What school of magic is it? DM's on.
So maybe
I don't like the
aberration
schools of
adjacent?
magic. I'm making a stand
Yeah,
against
that's
them.
fair. Is that the pendant or the ring or both?
That is the ring. The pendant seems to be a very, very faint, kind of like illusionary effect. But it really is, like it. What I'm saying here is that this feels like basically a common magical item,
Yeah.
It's something so trivial, it's almost not even magical.
And
Now, I'm
he
not
was
focusing
not...
on any of the items, but
Mm-hmm.
I have trouble turning away from him because of my morbid devotion with my eyes. So I'm just enraptured by the sight of a legend before me.
Excellent.
He wasn't at the meeting the other night, right?
He was not. No.
Okay.
I would have freaked out.
Yeah,
True.
Noah would have ruined the meeting.
I
It would have
I
had
would
to be
have
cancelled.
real. What were they
Uh,
called in K-pop? The obnoxious fans?
So thanks.
Yes,
Oh, yes, those things.
that's me.
Jesus.
would have ruined that meeting.
Then his Yandere phase.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But well, while Maisel is observing these things, he has turned to all of you like, well, I didn't catch all of your names, if I may.
I'm going to reach out with both hands and grab one of his. I don't know if he's holding a hand out, but I'm gonna grab one of his hands regardless. And I'm gonna say, Noah, my name's Noah, and I am one of your biggest fans, if not the biggest, at least in this very group.
Well, surprising but interesting. Noah, That... Do you have a surname?
Wes. Now, question for you. When you said a few days in-game ago that I lost my name, the one I was holding on to, did I forget about it?
No.
Okay, so
It was almost more like a meta thing for you as a player than for Noah as a person. Though I certainly think he would have felt a little more disconnected to the last name. But he still remembers it and recognizes it as like, this is the surname that I've been having.
This is the word I used to say after my name.
Yes, precisely.
So I'm gonna say that word again, but to clarify, not because I truly feel as though it belongs to me, but because it's easier than saying that I don't know. So I'm gonna say Westergaard. Noah Westergaard.
Ah, Noah Westergaard. It's not really a common name from here, but it sounds local enough. Yep, it's familiar, but unique at the same time. Would work quite well for maybe a lead character, like a main character.
Somehow I need to start working.
Wide eyes. You would... No, surely you're joking. You would use my name for a character?
Well, I mean, people's characters' names need to come from somewhere, right? And your
You
name...
have my permission.
Well, thank you very much. If necessary, I'll have my assistant contact you or anything. But I don't have any ideas just yet. I'm just thinking out loud, if you will. It's just that your name, like I said, to a person from here, it would sound believable that you're from here, but at the same time, it's not really a name they've heard yet, so it kind of functions, like a local hero of sorts, distinguished, but also familiar. Pretty good.
A hero?
For a man who's just kicked out for drinking, you're quite sharp.
Well, don't let a man's vices influence your opinion on his character. And you, young lady?
She does a slight little curtsy. Luna Shandora, archaeologist.
Archaeologist? I wouldn't have guessed. Luna
I've been told.
Shandora. Well, the lunar metaphor is a little bit heavy-handed, I'll say, but
I actually giggle a little bit at that on the
still
side.
powerful. It's got like a ring to it. Like
She kind of pouts at that, and she kind of like looks off and mumbles. She's like, "I was a kid when I chose the surname."
Please don't take offense. It sounds good. I'm just saying it's pretty overt.
She's blushing.
It's pretty overt.
She realizes that her name was like very fairy tale once she got older, but she committed to it as a young age, and now she's like sort of reaping the. She's sort of reaping that, and she's like looking off like.
But at the same time, like, well, I don't mean this in a disrespectful sort of way, but it's pretty evident you're not from around here, so it would be quite fitting for, the foreigner in the group, the sort of character that is not from around here and is the princess of a foreign land or something. Or, those kinds of supporting characters, like the captain of a ship that helps out the heroes and is like a leader of a faction that is aiding in our main cast. That sort of thing. That's the vibe I sort of would use.
Luna,
Oh,
you
you're
hear
just
that?
buttering me up.
You're like a helper to me.
Luna was going from being complimented from this man and was just going like, "Oh, you're just buttering me up." And then Noah says that, and she like stares at him, and 7 daggers fling past each part of your hair, and you get like a little haircut.
I can
My
hear
hair
you
grows
if you
back.
want.
Well, that's a little dangerous. And also unsettling that your hair grows back. I'm gonna ask you about that in a second, but still.
Just
The
hero
daggers
stuff.
flash back to her bandolier.
Neat little trick. Oh, I like that. But, well, let me not be unjust. And the other young lady turns to look at Lilia.
I was hoping he wouldn't turn to Rala. I was like, please don't.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
No, like,
Hmm?
DM described it as being a little bit of a creepy look. I was like, please, no.
No, I said not creepy. Like,
Oh, in the beginning you said not creepy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said like he was specifically torn as a girl, but like, there is a fine line between doing that sort of like gentlemanly ladies first sort of act and being creepy about it.
Right.
It's a fine line, but it's there.
Okay. I misunderstood then. I thought it was a little on the creepier end.
You can
was
take
like,
it as a creepy thing, but I'm making it a point of saying like he's not being a lecher or something like that.
Yeah, I don't want it to be a creepy thing.
Lilia is a little creeped out. Lilia?
Just Lilia?
Elm?
Lilia Elm. I mean, it's kind of generic, but it's got a homely quality to it.
Okay.
It's kind of like looking up as it says that, like not looking at any of you in particular. I wouldn't. No offense, again, I'm just assessing. Every character, when I say this, by the way, just to get that out of the way, every character in the story is equally as important. We need a protagonist, but we also need, antagonists, side characters, everyone else. You can just have a story with one character. Well, technically you can, but it's a specific kind of story. Regardless, wouldn't really put you in, like, the main squad or anything. But maybe like a love interest, like the girl next door, a childhood sweetheart, something like that. It's got that kind of ring to it. That or the village baker. One or the other.
I think at the girl next door, Luna does kind of giggle on the side.
Don't know whether I'm complimented or offended by you right now.
Oh, well. Mixed feelings, huh? You'll get used to them soon.
You just seem to have the effect.
Oh no, it's just part of adult life, Things aren't cut and dry, but I can tell you're quite young, so you're gonna learn in time. Anyway, and for the little missy here, kind of like turns towards Rala, and it with a little more of like a softer, like dealing with a kid sort of way.
Rhoda, like, proudly puffs out her chest. My name's Rolla Saltmelly. And that's Gigi. She points to her back.
And I think Aluna did catch that he was being a bit softer with Rella, but like she's definitely sort of like the side slit on her dress or her bandoliers. She's definitely sort of like has it more pronounced out now. Just sort of like, showing off her leg. Just kind of like absentmindedly, as if like silently to say, it's just like careful with your commentary on this one.
He's like, soap Molly, like the fashion brand? I mean, oh, well, it's right there in your jacket, huh? And Rala? Oh, that's a little bit mean of your parents, huh? But still. Well,
What does he mean?
What do you mean?
Okay.
never mind. I don't.
Oh.
Maybe if you
You can
don't know, if you don't know, then you're better off not knowing.
Well, that's just
Regardless.
worse. We've
Well,
come from a place where it's better to know than to not know.
It's probably just a coincidence, but it's in a certain language that word doesn't mean something very nice. Let's just leave it at that.
I mean, I think with that sort of implication, having the knowledge would be better, as to not accidentally offend somebody.
You'll be fine. Anyway, with a name like that, I mean, you're probably. I mean, it's literally the name of a clothing brand, so kind of like an advertisement character, something like that.
I didn't know that.
The mascot character?
Yeah, something along those lines, you know. But also with the, I don't know if I'm being influenced by the fact that you are literally a child, but you do feel like, you know, the characters come into a new place and they meet a local, and the local like guides them around and gives them a few things to do at first. You know, that sort of character. Maybe they will be a little bit irrelevant as the plot moves on to bigger, grander things, but it's one of those characters that the readers will always fondly remember as one of their first experiences into that new place. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I get from it. And also, you know, advertisement money.
More irrelevant?
No. To reiterate, every character has their value, every character has an importance in the whole thing of the story. See, even if the plot itself doesn't really care much about a certain character, the readers do. That's how you balance things out. Sometimes you have a villain who's very important to the story, but nobody gives a shit. And sometimes you have a character who could be deleted and the plot would not suffer for it, and yet they're everyone's favorites. Some people read the book only for them. Who's more important? I mean, both are. That's why I write both of them. I don't write useless characters.
Still
And you? Sort of like turns to myself, almost as if he had forgotten.
As he's been talking, can I, like, bouncing off the roll earlier and getting the sense that he was kind of putting on an act of the drunkenness, can I get the vibe of whether this is, like, a coincidental encounter, or if he, like, somehow this seems to be going to, like, a plan of his where he wanted us to, like, encounter him in the alley, or, like, not alley, but in the street, like he got kicked out of the bar conveniently at the right time to meet us?
I mean, that's something that I find a little hard to suss out with like an insight check, because it is a fact that he was kicked out of the bar at a convenient time to meet you guys, whether that was by design or not. You know, that doesn't change the fact. So it would be more like a logical conclusion on your part, based on other things, than something you could read from his body language, like if he got kicked out at the right time at the right place on purpose.
I guess
or not.
so. Here's what I guess the part I'm trying to read is: his interest in our party go beyond a coincidental meeting on the street, or does it seem like he wanted to meet us?
Well, I can roll another insight check as far as his
Okay.
looking at everyone right now.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Damn bitch.
Okay. He seems to be keenly interested in your group. And again, anyone would be, because you guys are a very eclectic group of individuals, and one of you has wings and the other has like dragon scales and whatnot. But even so, there is one detail, like when Noah said that that he was like a great fan, he kind of like raised an eyebrow, and it was how should I say this? It was a surprise, but not the surprise that you get when you go like, "Oh, you're a fan, really? Huh?" It seemed more like he was specifically surprised at Noah being a fan, which would imply that he has some sort of prior knowledge of Noah in some way. But as for the rest, his interest in the party seems really like very interested in these individuals. Like right now, he's just like rating your names, but he's looking at each and every one of you, sort of like in an interested manner, sort of like observing your stuff and etc. But it also doesn't feel like necessarily like a sinister interest. When he's like thinking about the names, etc., it does feel very vivid, very like spontaneous. Like he's hearing the name and immediately like trying to piece together what kind of character would work with that name, and working out things in his head, imagining stories. Like there is a vibrance to it, and in that same regard, he's just observing everyone out of like his very genuine interest. So it's not like he's doing the creepy like memorizing every detail of you guys, but he's certainly interested. And there is that thing about Noah.
Got it. Mizell will kind of place a hand over his heart and bow slightly and say, Mizell von Windblumer. My name is my own, but you may know it. I'm an investigator here.
Mizell von Windblumer. This is a very fancy sounding name. I mean, it would work quite well for a villain, honestly. Like, Baron Mizell von Windblumer of the Sky Reigning Sovereignty, something like that.
I nod in agreement. Just kind of like, that's what I've been feeling for a while as well.
like it could still be just like some nobleman who helps the party, etc. But I do think it has a pretty useful villainous vibe. It doesn't have to be like the main villain, but it's quite striking.
Yeah, like the sidekick.
Or mid-boss. I used to call that somebody.
You guys really feel like disrespecting this guy right now, don't you?
Well, everyone has a mid-boss. In my monastery, we used to call someone mid-boss.
You're an archaeologist and you come from a monastery.
I dabble.
That's kind of fascinating. Say, now that we have been properly acquainted, me and all of you, what would you say to joining me at a certain bar? It's just down the street, really. I mean, I got kicked out of this one, but there are always others. The other ones are gonna know that I've already had some. I'm paying, of course.
I kind of look at the others at this. We do have time, technically, but...
Mizell will subtle spell message and kind of meet Iluna's eyes, and she'll hear in her, as a whisper in her ear, he knows more than he's letting on. I can't tell if he means ill or is just curious. Wouldn't hurt to learn more. We don't have to carry out this mission tonight.
I'm just puppy-eyeing. Like, can we please?
Luna kind of... She gets the message. She kind of like, and she sort of looks up as if she's sort of thinking what he said over. Then sort of notices Noah's side eye, and she just kind of does a light sigh. All right, I think we have some time to kill. Drinks.
Awesome. I can't wait to tell you about all the ideas I've had for some books recently.
Oh,
And once again, I'll start rambling for an unhealthy amount of time while we're walking.
yes. Well, just follow me then. And he does indeed lead you to a bar that is just like on the same street, really, just a few houses over. Seems to be a pretty expensive place. Not necessarily fancy, but expensive. But he, yeah, on the way, he sort of like dusts himself off a little bit. You know, makes himself a little bit more presentable to not look like he just got kicked out of a different bar. Straightens his hair a bit. And everything else, continues like indulging Noah's like onslaught of conversation, but also like every time he catches a break, he tries to engage the others as well. But you guys enter this this more expensive bar. He gets in and immediately like looks at the bartender and goes like, "Hey Mo, good evening. I'm gonna have a table for 6." And the guy, presumably Mo, this big man who seems to have a sort of like Beetlejuice ancestry, like a bug guy with like this this large like horn. He just nods and leads you guys towards this table. Not like right at the back, but it's clearly like a table for regulars and fine patrons, etc. You all get seated into these like cushioned chairs and small like sofas. It's a very comfortable place, very elegant all in all. There's even like a little bit of a citrus smell in the air. Kind of like sits down with very acting like he owns the place. Well, that's great. That's far better. What are you having? What are you drinking? Anything's fine.
Oh shit. I'm trying to remember the stuff we wrote down before.
True.
I'll just have some water on the rocks, please.
Isn't that just water with frozen water? You know what? Yes. You can have whatever you want, young man.
Thank
Do
you.
you have a, by the way, do you have a copy of whatever your favorite book is right there? I could sign it.
Are you serious?
I mean, of course. My words are paid for when they are in the form of prose, but if it's just my name, it's of no consequence.
Thank you so much. Actually, yes, I do. And I'll fish around in my backpack for a second, and I'm gonna bring out a copy of The Wizard of Summerhall. And I'm gonna look at it lovingly for a few seconds before I'll place it on the table, and I'll say, "This is my absolute favorite work of yours."
Oh, really? That is... Wow. This one. I had a lot of fun writing this one, by the way. He looks at it like fondly and then looks back at you like
I could feel
kind
it
smile.
when I read it.
It's great to have a piece like this recognized, you know? He opens it and goes like to the front page and produces like a fancy ass quill from his belongings, along with like a small bottle of ink. You know, always gotta have one of these around if you're an author. Like, dips it slightly and then writes very elegantly in the front page a dedication like, "To Noah, my greatest fan, Marco Windranen. May your love for stories never fade."
I turn to look at Iluna like, "Oh my god, are you seeing this?" kind of vibe.
He sort of smiles and kind of ruffles his hair. Happy for him.
So,
Well, stories are important, after all.
indeed, stories are of the utmost importance, which is why I want to hear yours. I mean, you're, again, no offense meant, but you're an exquisite group. We don't get many people who look so adventurous. Not all of them banded together. I mean, there was the Red Wing fellow, like that one year, and the other druidy sort of guy on the other, but other than that, we don't usually get the adventuring sorts around. Not as a group. So, what gives? What's happening? What
So
is your
we're hunting vampires.
Oh,
Do you actually?
no.
Do you say that?
Immediately, like, let one word out of his mouth, just like, nope.
Lilia
It-
grab
It would
him.
make so much sense for him to just do that, though.
I think I wasn't gonna lay it on that pick, but I imagine Noah zero concern for any kind of like there's no reason not to trust him. This is his idol after all, so I'm gonna open with so we're an adventuring party and we actually just recently came together and we have been fighting a couple of really strong enemies recently together. There's been vampires.
We
we've
are.
been- Oh,
For some reason, I imagine Noah starts saying the word vampire and he immediately gets bonked in the head with Yigi.
With a very measured look, Luna will turn to him and say, "We've actually just come from the Wolfwood, dealing with a lycanthropy problem."
Oh, well, that one has been around for a time, hasn't it? I've read some stories in the Wolfwood, done my fair share of study here and there. They have like a werewolf village situation going on. I believe I read about some druids as well, but not much.
Some
Oh,
advice?
yes. We met both of them.
Oh, you did? How did that go? Are they enemies or are they
It went
friends?
fine. It went fine.
I assume I catch the tone.
This is not a conversation we're having with this person right here, right now.
Yep. So I catch the tone, and
You know, some stories are meant for just certain people involved in them.
hang on. Let me just roll something for myself. I just like to see some. Oh, I am pretty insightful. You know what? I don't need to roll. I think I catch the tone and I realize. Oh, perhaps not out in the open like this.
We love a character that's socially inept, but then socially aware. That's an interesting combination always.
Well, okay, maybe touch a topic. I get it. I won't pry
does
necessarily.
does he get like give the vibe that like he was surprised when Noah like almost blurted vampire?
Give me an insight check.
This is gonna be me all night long talking to this random guy.
Can I
Natural story.
see
Could
how?
you imagine?
Can I notice how untrusting Myzel is of Marco Windron and the Legend?
Marco Windron in the legend. Myzel, are you trying to hide how
To be fair, I think
distrustful you are of
how
Marco
Myzel
Windron in
is.
the legend?
I wouldn't even say it's a mistrust. It's a like
Discretion.
this seems very coincidental. I'm not sure what's going on here, and I want to find out more.
Also fair to him. I think he does this to everyone that we meet.
That's fair.
Also
This
true.
one's
I mean, like I
special to
could.
me. This one's close to my heart.
I mean, I can roll a deception if you want to roll an insight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Are you trying to hide the fact that you're sort of like analyzing him? Because, like, you know, I feel like it's kind of hard for you to be measuring someone to like to an analytical level while engaging in conversation. It takes some finesse. So if you're actively intending to not let the suspicion show on your face, that's a deception roll. Yes.
No, totally.
Sure.
And it also like Myzel's trying to like not outwardly appear like he's like studying every word the guy says. So yeah, definitely I will role, but he's also taking a little bit of a step back from the conversation. That's funny. Myself not good at lying. But like he's intentionally also taking a little bit of a step back from the conversation so that he doesn't have to juggle those things, and he's intentionally listening more than he speaks.
I'm gonna point a
Okay.
finger at Myzel under the table and send a message, and I'll say, "What's your problem with him? He's a
I'm
legend."
gonna kill you. I swear to
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, what's your problem with him? He's a legend.
He, as for your insight check, he did not seem very surprised when Noah almost said vampires. He feigned ignorance. He sort of like, you could tell that he knew what Noah was saying. Like, you know, he started to say the word vampire, and he clocked that. But for politeness sake, like since Noah got sort of like interrupted and wasn't allowed to finish the sentence, he sort of like picked up that social cue and like pretended he had not, he didn't know what was being said, but he did know. What was the other? Was there another question?
Owen was gonna ask something.
Noah had also DM'd Myzel.
Yeah.
No, but did you ask something else with your insight check there or not?
No. It was just that, like, did he seem surprised by the fact that Noah almost blurted vampire, and like maybe like it doesn't seem like he was familiar with our story already, but was asking more.
Well, aside from him picking up the social cue, he also didn't like raise his eyebrows or like do any alarm motions or anything like that. It seemed like he understood what the word was, but it didn't shock him, like even like initial shock sort of deal.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of like pretended he didn't hear, because that seemed to be the social thing, like what you guys wanted the conversation to be.
Can I tell if it's, and this will probably be hard for an insight check, but can I tell if it's more of the I'm being a polite and active listener and not acting surprised, or I already knew?
Yeah, you're not, I wouldn't say that you would be sure if he already knew or not, but it didn't seem to like phase him in any way.
Okay. In that case, I want to detect thoughts and catch his surface thoughts here.
Okay, you cast
How much
detect
you bend the
thoughts
necklace to let you do it.
and begin to try to sense sort of like what is emanating from the minds of creatures nearby you, focusing specifically on Mr. Windren here. And as you're doing that, like in the same sort of way that I had described the detect magic, like you're doing this as the scene is progressing, and it seems like he was kind of backing out, like of the topic, sort of like, okay, I get it. Some things may be private, and then he seemed to look at you in particular and go like, I hope it didn't say anything to offend our friend here. And as he's saying that, you are also trying to focus, silently focus on him with your mind reading magic, and you find yourself blocked from it. It seems like there is some sort of force withholding his thoughts to himself.
Myzel is entirely unsurprised after seeing the rings and the pendant. Well, the ring in specifically. In that case, I want to touch on the barkeep's thoughts, or whoever let us in, like gave us a table. Does he already know the guy, and does he seem like he was expecting the guy? Do I get any thoughts or vibes from that?
Are you doing surface thoughts?
Yeah, just their surface thoughts.
Well, the surface thoughts of the
late.
barkeep is sort of like, okay, 1 pinch of rum and just a little bit of salt.
Okay.
Couple drops of lemon here. You know, they're not engaging with him right now, so they're not thinking about him like right this moment.
Yeah. Okay. If the barkeep's completely unconcerned, then that's fine. And to the does he look like he was looking for a response from Mizell when he said, "I hope I didn't offend our friend over here"?
Yeah, you get the distinct sense that he caught on to the way that you were looking at him, like essentially like he beat your deception check. Essentially. And he noticed that you were sort of like trying to gauge him in a certain way, and he sort of stopped, like, "Hey, is it cool? Like, do you want to ask something?"
Mm-hmm. No, not at all. I was just curious about you, and when I'm curious about an individual, I tend to listen more than I speak.
Oh, well, that is really fair. It's good to listen to others, actually. It makes you remember their stories better. You know what I mean? So, I'm guessing, is everything that you've done in the Wolfwood off topic here, or is it? I mean, I don't want to get on anyone's nerves, but I am deathly curious about it.
I do have one piece of free advice.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard legends of a hag in the Wolfwood?
Well, a couple here and there, yes.
There's one in particular. Granny Snowflake. You do well to avoid any part of her forest.
I mean, pretty good name though, but yeah, thanks for the advice. I couldn't really imagine myself going to a place like that. I think it's probably not inhabited by company that would be very healthy for me. Sort of.
Swear to God, if this guy's not actually suspicious at all and is just Volo of this world.
But
It's a possibility.
But it is rather intriguing. I mean, so when you say you solved the problem, does that mean, like, no more werewolves in the Wolfwood, or?
Oh no.
It helps them make peace.
Oh, peace.
Yes, there are issues that popped up and we helped facilitate.
Time for another insight check. What does he think about that? How we said peace? Does it seem like he kind of he wasn't expecting that? Like, does he know like a little? Does it seem like he knew some of the situation and didn't think that was possible?
Go for it.
I think after this, Kindle, you get to say the things she wanted to say.
Yes.
No, you can say the thing first, and then I'll resolve that.
I was gonna pivot the conversation, so if you want to finish this.
Okay. Brief, like, he did not seem surprised at all, actually.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it seemed a little artificial how he was sort of like going like, "Oh, does that mean no more?" Like, it was a little forced. Lilia?
You know, we've been talking so much about what we've been going through. Noah's Adel. What's it been like here, you know? Have anything interesting been happening in the city?
Oh, well, I mean, I moved here, as I'm sure our young friend here will know. I moved here almost 3 decades ago, and Greathelm's been pretty peaceful city to live in. Like, you know, very, very defended from the threats of the outside world. Some economic hiccups happening here and there, but overall a stable economy, pretty thriving. So yeah, over the course of the years, like I said, I've met a couple of adventurer sorts. They pop up every couple of years or something. Always kind of like striking, you know. You can tell they have like this gravity to them. But as far as I know, they never like settle here and do their business around, because Great Helm doesn't really have anything to solve. Not in recent times either. I mean, especially not since my daughter took up as the lady commander of the guard. She is very competent, so you can be sure Great Helm is safe.
Wait,
Did we know before that Lucina was his daughter?
You did, because you
Did we?
investigated. No, Mizell did,
oh,
because Mizell.
I was like, I didn't know that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mizell did investigate Lucina, so he would have
Yes.
known.
I got the same last
Okay.
name. It just makes sense.
Yeah, they do
I'm
have the same last
connecting-
name. You were
I'm
never
connecting the
told.
dots in real time.
Yeah, you were never told explicitly, but they do have the same last name, and anyone who has been deep enough in the Great Helm rumor mill, which would be probably mostly myself, a little bit of Rala, and then a little bit less Noah, would have known that Lucina is widely known to be Vanessa Windrenen's bastard daughter, so to speak. And if you go a little bit deeper in the rumor mill, you know that Vanessa Windrenen is married to Marco Windrenen. So Lucina is technically his bastard daughter. Well, she's not Vanessa's bastard daughter, just like a daughter outside of marriage.
Mhm.
Okay.
But to most of the party, I think this would be news. I think Mizell would be the only one completely attuned to that information.
Oh, wind running. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, I sense some dots being connected in real time.
Yeah.
I'm realizing in real time. Aluna like makes a face, like I think I might have tried to hit on. Never mind. I need to keep that to myself.
Yeah. You see his
He
eyes
does say that
flare
aloud,
up.
but
like-
she does legitimately like have a moment of like, oh god.
No, I know, but he his eyes zero in on you like a hawk. Like, what was that?
Nothing. Just I admire the lady commander and her
Yeah.
Myself will kind
dedication.
of
to the
cover
city.
a little bit and say, I met your daughter once or twice. I interviewed her for an investigation that I did once. She's quite the woman.
Oh, you've met her then. Well, did all of you meet her as well?
Yes. She's
Yes.
not quite like you, but respectable, I think.
Yeah.
Very focused woman.
Yes, she is. She has always been talented and skilled, but also very, very full of effort. You should have seen her when she was promoted. She trained so hard just to be able to wield Helm Splitter, the city's heirloom weapon. It was marvelous, really. She's always been a child of many wonders, but that was dedication, real dedication. Have you seen
She's
how
incredible.
sharp she is?
How what she is?
incredibly sharp.
Lots of people talking.
Mizell wants to respond to the part of have you seen how sharp she is by saying she's incredibly competent and dedicated to this town. I fully believe she would give her life defending it. And he wants to gauge his reaction to that.
Okay.
Nonplussed, unsurprised.
I mean, if he's the BBEG of the town, he wouldn't want his
He's
daughter to
not.
die,
Get
right?
off his dick.
Get off his dick. He
Get on my... Yeah!
his expression. So you're looking at him talk about his daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is like this glow, like deep within his eye, that you've seen very few times in your whole life. Like there is this pure, genuine affection. It's almost a little uncomfortable for you to be looking at this man like gush about his daughter because it's so pure and sincere. It doesn't really fit the way that he has been talking in the rest of the conversation either. He has this kind of like naturally sleazy air to him in a way, and yet you feel that his what he's saying about Lucina is like 100% genuine, and it even makes him a little less eloquent than he normally is.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, when you say that she would give her life defending the city, etc., he agrees. Like he is nodding, like yes, she most certainly would. She's a very dedicated child. But there is like a tension on his forehead, kind of like a drop of sweat, like concern, in a way. Even though he's wholeheartedly agreeing with you and still looking very proud about her for it.
Interesting.
Do you ever worry about that
Oh,
as a father? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
all good. Actually, that works perfectly. You say that, and I'd like to add on to that. I'll say, is there any danger happening right now that you're worried about?
When you guys give me like sort of like a party persuasion check in a way.
I can do that.
Party persuasion.
Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna distribute advantage to Noah
Mm-hmm.
because he has been a dedicated fanboy and has been very succupish to Mr. Windren here. Disadvantage for Mizell because he was openly suspicious and Marco picked up on it. Also disadvantage to Lilia because she sort of like deflected the subject from the Wolfwood and directed it back at his personal life, which he noticed that you did that. And although it's not like he's angry about it, but he knows, and it was a little like, okay, I'm gonna have to talk about myself instead.
And neutral
Rala
for me?
Sorry, what?
I
In
love
neutral
that
for me?
die. Fuck.
Yeah, Rala and Luna can just be at normal.
I'm just over here sipping my juice, alright?
Turn on advantage. Where is it at on the sheet?
You click
hit
shift,
shift
and then
as you're hitting.
you hold shift as you click the thing, or you then just click the down arrow after the first roll.
Oh, okay. I got it. Nice.
2 from Rala. 18 from Mizell, 9 from Lilia, 14 from Noah, and a 14 from Iluna as well.
Not bad across the board.
Yeah. He kind of like looks
Jesus.
a little tense, like looks to the sides, lowers his voice like a good whole like octave. Well, now that you mention it, maybe. I mean, how long have you guys been in here?
We got back.
Mm.
I'm also
Yes,
whispering because he's whispering now, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
sort of like whispering just loud enough so everyone can hear, but sort of like the other tables aren't gonna hear this.
So since he's whispering, I'm also whispering. I'm gonna say, "We got here just a couple days ago." That's true, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And Luna also whispering. I don't want to do this with my mic, so I'm gonna talk normally. And things have been somewhat strange. I mean, even just something as simple as the curfew doesn't seem to be getting enforced quite as bit as heavily as before.
Yeah, about that. Well, you guys got here after the whole thing started going down, so I guess it's fine, but I don't really know what's going on, but people have taken like a little bit of a shift in their attitudes. I don't know. My daughter had issued a curfew and everyone was following it, but then one day, nobody seems to care, not even the guards. They should be heavily punished for that, but still, nobody's respecting it. Kind of pisses me off. Anyway.
What changed?
That's the thing. I don't know. I mean, people have been spreading some rumors about that maybe there could be some vampires lurking around the city, as the ones I'm sure you're familiar with. But
Who knows about vampires, guys?
Does he genuinely seem to be unsure of exactly what's going on here?
roll an insight check.
This guy.
How many of those can I roll in one
Again?
night?
33.
What on earth?
Wait,
Yeah,
why did you do it
it's
again?
It just keeps going. It just keeps doing it.
For each
There's a
one
weird-
that you do, it adds on.
There's
Yeah,
a weird
right?
pop-up each time also about permissions or something.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't remember exactly what it says, but it says something.
Maybe our expert in cut-ins can help us figure that out later.
He is saying all of these things to you guys, and he seems genuinely concerned, a little scared. You can feel like an uncertainty, a fear of the unknown, sort of like the stress of not knowing, and a little bit of also of like isolation, like of not. There's like when somebody's talking to you about something they don't normally talk about with anyone, there is this sort of like relief that emanates from them and comes through in the tone of their voice, and there's also like a little bit of that, kind of like he's scared, but also it's good to be finally talking to someone about it. And you genuinely feel all of these things coming to you, but it just rubs you off a little.
Yeah?
It feels
Yeah.
it feels genuine, but almost too genuine. Like it almost feels like you're being led to feel in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so subtle that you're really the only one who picks up on it. The rest, like you guys really feel this coming through from him. It feels completely genuine and sincere.
I don't know.
But-
I've had the ick since I met him.
You've had what?
I've had the ick on him since we met him.
I know,
That's true.
but also you're physically incapable of rolling what Maisel rolled.
True.
So when he does that, even if you had reservations about him, what he's saying right now, like it just delivers all of these feelings. At the very least, you can believe that he feels that, even if you have your reservations about him, like logically. Is what I mean.
Okay.
But when you're
What's your
looking at
surface
him,
thoughts right now? Oh wait, he can't
Nope.
detect it. Shit.
can't read. Yeah, but when you're looking at him and your eyes are sort of like scanning them with their sort of like magical acuity, they do give you like this almost like an exclamation mark like on the corner of the screen. Like, we don't know what's up, but there's something off here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you interrupt?
It's
in any
almost
way?
like he's doing every motion to convey the feelings perfectly, like every mannerism in his voice, every mannerism in his body language.
Yes.
But my eyes and I kind of picking up, this is too perfect of a delivery. No one even feeling this way genuinely delivers this many of the textbook cues.
Yes.
That kind
exactly.
of vibe.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like a person who is really feeling these things would normally not actually be able to express 100% of them, even if they want to, just because humans are not that good at communication. But this man is seemingly just doing it perfectly.
I was so ready to come around and trust him, and boom, it's gone. um, what was the last thing he said? I don't even remember.
Well, he was essentially going like, well, people were talking about vampires
Oh,
in the
right.
city, and all of a sudden they just weren't anymore. And now, if you even mention anything suspicious happening around town, they just laugh it off. It's kind of creepy.
Creepy indeed. I'm not certain what's going on either, but I'm sure that it'll get taken care of and resolved.
Well, I mean, you guys are an adventuring party, right? I don't know if you've already talked about these kinds of things with my daughter or anything, but I can imagine she's trying to do something.
It
Can or
can or
can't?
can't.
I can imagine.
Okay. Have you spoken with your daughter about this at all?
I have not spoken with my daughter in a while. So, no.
See,
Would you
story
ask
there?
us? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry?
I'm gonna sort of gives him a little bit of grace and just kind of sympathetically looks. I was like, a bad story there.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of personal stuff, you know, but bottom line is, haven't talked to her much. And likewise, on her
I
side.
don't mean to pry. Do you feel like it was your fault or hers? Or unlucky
Well,
circumstance?
I have yet to hear of a time where my daughter has done something wrong. And I will leave it at that.
Well, I hope you make up for it sometime.
So then are you asking us to look into this mystery for you?
I mean, if you're up to it, yeah. You're an adventuring group, right? You've solved something else already. So, if you're sticking around the city even knowing something is up, surely you're gonna do something about it.
It's kind of a fun coincidence, but we're looking into it.
You
Alrighty.
are.
What happened? Myzel kind of subtle spell messages like zip it.
Oh, that's even better. Have you guys found out anything already? I mean, I can maybe help. I've lived in this city for a few decades, and I just like to know about things. So I know a lot about stuff around the city. If you guys need to know.
I don't want to visibly react to the message that I received, but I received the message, of course. So I'm gonna say, honestly, we haven't found out much yet. There are no real leads. What you've told us tonight is the most we've heard so far.
Deception check.
You have to make a deception. I was like, why?
Me when I lie. I have a -2. This is good.
Oh my god.
That's great.
Oh, this is good.
That's
Okay.
not bad, but he's probably pretty insightful.
He looks at you and goes like, "Oh, is that so? Well, that's a little disappointing, but okay, that's fine. We can work with that."
Did he believe me?
Roll an insight check.
Well,
Ooh.
I'm in there.
As far as you can tell, seemed genuine.
Okay.
Felt like he was a little like, "Oh, okay, not what I wanted to hear, but let's go."
Y'all suck.
You haven't been here for that long a time. What would you suggest as a local who's noticed things off?
Well, okay. I dabble mostly in the night life. I like to go out, drink, that sort of thing, and other things, but that's left to my discretion. I've noticed a couple of things here and there. I mean, people have been going to parties uptown, but that's not really much of a surprise. Though, do you guys think that's suspicious?
Parties?
Parties.
Yeah, I mean, they hold some balls here and there, like near the commercial
So do I,
district.
bitch.
Fuck.
Oh god.
I don't go to them, but I'm often invited. So, I mean, if you
Why-
guys wanted to look into that kind of thing, I could maybe get you in.
Why haven't you gone?
Well, doesn't really look like much my thing. I'd rather just stay to the places that I already know and hang out with the people that I know of. Those gatherings, that may be a stereotype of mine, but it feels like people would crowd me for my fame and status and all those things, and it seems like more of a chore than anything else.
I
That
understand
might
that.
be useful, actually. Next time you get one of those invitations, maybe let us know, and we might be able to tag along.
Well, they've been happening day in, day out, really. So whenever you guys are up to it, you can just give me the word, and we'll get you set up.
Is that his only reason for not going?
Roll an insight check.
And I will, depending on my role, say something to him about it.
Ooh.
I'm
24.
warming up.
Man. Yeah.
He's
Warming
heating
up.
up.
Is it
18.
the shoes?
You asked if that's the only reason he's not going, right?
Yes, so now his statement was he doesn't want necessarily to be swarmed by fans and whatnot. And it doesn't really feel like his vibe.
Yeah. That sentence felt actually pretty sincere. But you do notice there was a pause before he said it,
Mhm.
which was very much looking for what to say pause. Sort of like like in a split second, like he opened like a catalog of things he could
Right. The
say to
Rolodex
explain.
of excuses.
Yeah, and then he's sort of like, oh, this one works.
Okay.
The excuse itself sounded genuine. Like it does seem like he doesn't like being swarmed by people. But it also feels like it wasn't something like that was foremost on his mind.
Okay. Then I'd like to say to him, I mean, not to doubt you in the slightest, because I have a lot of respect for you, but if it's a topic that you're so curious about and you are worried for your daughter and you have the opportunity to maybe go if you wanted to, wouldn't your curiosity perhaps be enough for you to actually go rather than stay away from it?
I
Are
am
you
quite
worried?
curious. You seem to attach to the parties rather quickly. Is there something in particular about them that rubs you the wrong way? Nobles throwing soirees is hardly a unfamiliar thing in cities.
Well, I mean, as much as I would like to go and do some investigation on my own, play the hero, etc., I'm just a humble writer after all. Like, if there really are some vampires around, like, what am I gonna do? Just roll over and get, like, brainwashed and turn into another vampires just like them or something? Like, that's not really something I could really do anything about. So, well, maybe you could call me a coward, but I've been sticking to what I know and where I belong. It's not that the parties rub me the wrong way or anything. Like I said, I just don't really like the attention. Well, that was my initial reason at least, but once this whole thing started, this whole rumors of vampires started going down, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna stick to the usual haunts. That seems like more of my thing. I mean, I do
Why
need to
stick
be,
around town? Why risk it?
because my wife and my daughter are here.
Is that genuine?
Ugh.
Roll an insight check.
Stop putting sussy people in front of us if you want me to stop rolling insight checks.
I love my family. Is he lying?
It actually
Sucks to
seems
me.
genuine. There is
It does. Okay.
there is a sort of um there is a sort of suffering to it as well, like a melancholy, but it's 100% genuine that he's like, no, like I'm gonna stick by my family.
Okay.
If Ned Fulmer taught me anything, it's don't trust the wife guy.
Deep cut. I don't doubt your natural, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like when you're just sort of like naturally not inclined to something. I can't think of the word right now. But to the
Disinclined.
parties, it's yeah, your
Natural
natural
disinclination.
natural disinclination. Jesus, what a fucking phrase.
Natural disinclination.
Yeah.
What should I say? English is my third language. I'm pretty fluent.
Instinct.
Your inhibition
kinda-
towards it?
I was gonna say just sort of instinct, but that works. It all works. It just shocks me that you so quickly latched on to the parties as well. As a place of intrigue. I'm just curious if there's something about them that made you think it could be involved with the oddities.
Well, you asked if there was something, if I noticed anything unusual, and I was like, well, there are the parties maybe. They have been happening more often recently. Didn't come by unnoticed. Of course, should be just be a coincidence, but still. If there's anything off, maybe it's that. Well, there are also like a couple of people I could think about that have been conspicuously absent of social life.
I see. Mhm.
So, is there anything else about the city that maybe you would be wanting to know about? Like I said, I know many things.
I'll, under the table, point the finger at Luna, and I'll say, should we ask about the graveyard? Casting message.
Still
No,
required
I
you to
don't.
say the thing.
I know, I'm like... into my water on the rocks. I'm whispering that.
Is the glass clear, or can he?
Good point. I mean, he doesn't need to breathe.
Yeah.
It's true.
True.
Just gargle the water.
Oh, I'm gargling.
Oh, God.
No.
Um,
I.
well, the question was not directed at Mizell, but he's thinking.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Should we ask about the graveyard?
No, not your question. His question.
Oh,
I
Is there
can't
anything else
answer
you
your
want to know
question.
about the city?
Yeah.
Can't
He
answer your
asked if
question up like gargling water for no reason.
He's
well, I'm
asking
sending you a
if you guys
message.
are. Yeah, if you guys would like to know anything else about the city, perhaps. He's
Yeah.
pretty knowledgeable about it.
I'm gargling water in order to send you a message subtly.
Thinking about this.
We've just noticed
Well-
that people seem off and, maybe a little drained feeling. But we'll look into it. Don't worry.
Well, if you're saying so. For what it's worth, there are, like I said, there are a couple of people that well, I don't want to say that I think they could be involved. I don't want to accuse anyone, but I used to see them around, and I don't anymore. So that always makes a guy like wonder what's up.
I did hear rumors of some being taken off from the city.
Sorry, what?
I did hear rumor about certain individuals being taken from the city or in the bars. People that go to get corrected and then disappear.
Well, do you mean the people that get taken to the graveyard, or the asylum people?
People get taken to the graveyard?
Oh, the guy hears a couple of things here and there.
Does that feel like he slipped up and let too much out?
Roll an insight check.
I think I've set a new record for how many insight checks in one session.
Yeah. Probably. Doesn't seem to be a reason why he would necessarily know about it, as far as you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he said it with like, he said it sort of naturally, as if that had already come up in conversation.
What was the second one?
Are the
Graveyard
ones
and then
that get sent to the asylum.
I had heard of the asylum from a drunkard. I didn't know that people were being taken to the graveyard for some reason.
Oh, you didn't? Well, that's just a bit of an odd rumor that's been rolling around here late at night. I mean, when you hang out mostly at night and not during the day, you end up hearing things that are a little more aligned with that kind of thing. And for what it's worth, there's a certain thing about the director of the asylum, if you're interested.
I'm naturally untrustworthy of organizations, so sure, why not?
Well, you're wise to do so. Well, his name is Phobos Amrich. He has been the director of the asylum for I don't know, about as long as I've been in town. People say he's very eccentric, but he's always been kind of conspicuously absent from the city's social life at large. And that means something coming from me. It's kind of like I only hear about the guy, but I've never seen him, you know? So, with all of these things about people who get admitted to the asylum not coming back, I kind of have to wonder what's up.
Mm. So I can't exactly walk in and
Do we know where the asylum is exactly?
Yeah, it's in the north, in the southeastern part of town.
asylum
Okay.
word.
I don't have the map.
I'm gonna activate the map. Forcibly drag everyone.
How dare you?
Farflame Asylum.
Northeast?
Southeast.
Southeast.
Well, if you guys want to get into the asylum, I'm not sure I can help you get in. You would have to maybe talk to the church. They're the ones that run the place.
As someone who is familiar with illusion magic, can Mizell try and like look past any try and see like if he can like see past the illusion that's being created by the pendant around his neck and like look for any vampiric features on this guy?
I mean, you can roll like a, the standard investigation check against illusions, but I'm gonna say that's not necessarily what's happening. Like the pendant seems to have an effect on itself. If he had been, like there would be a magical register on him if he had an illusion on himself.
Oh, okay. So the illusion seemed to only be affecting the pendant itself.
Yeah, the pendant gives off a faint, illusory aura, but
Okay.
doesn't seem to be spreading out of it or in any way. Seems to be
Right.
a very
Okay.
simple. It's definitely not something strong enough to be able to mask someone's whole appearance.
Mhm. Okay. So in that case, it's kind of a combination of like, can I tell what this pendant really is? Because I know it's been kind of messing with me, but also, do I see any vampiric features on this man?
You can roll an Arcana check for the first and a Perception check for the second.
Okay. Oh, not investigation for the first to see through the illusion?
Well, you can roll that too. Although it's kind of useless, but yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's whichever. You said investigation first, and so I was like, that's a lot better than my Arcana.
No, you can investigation to see through the illusion, Arcana to know what the pendant or whatever is, and Perception to try to perceive his facial features.
Okay, let's
Sort
go.
of.
All three.
That's a lot of dice.
So many dice.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to use my eyes to bump the investigation up to a 21 and the perception up to a 26.
Jesus.
Right. You bumped the perception as well? To what?
Yes.
To what?
26.
26. Okay. For the investigation, you kind of try to force your mind into seeing through any sort of invisibility that you're guessing might be there, even though you have no necessary indications of it. But doesn't seem to have any effect on what you're perceiving. Like reality
Okay.
doesn't shift in any way. As for your Arcana skill check, you're not really sure what that pendant is.
Especially because I can't see through whatever illusion it might be casting.
Well, seems to be something very simple again. But when now that you take a proper look at it, it seems to be sort of like a locket more than a pendant. Like it's shaped kind of like a round thing, but it seems to have like a little bit of a fixture that would open, like click open.
Okay. So possible deduction that it might just show magical images inside.
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
As for your perception check, you analyze this man's face a little more clearly, like his sort of like messy hair parted in the way, like auburn with a few streaks of gray, a few wrinkles on his forehead showing a little bit of his age, but still pretty handsome features. All in all, his green. His green sort of like droopy like eyes with, usually vampires would have red eyes, but his eyes seem properly green. A little, not like super bloodshot, but a little reddened from the alcohol consumption, presumably.
Right.
You don't see fangs, or he does have a sort of pale complexion, but it's not to an excessive degree. His hands seem relatively trimmed. The only sort of awkward thing you see is that while you're observing him, he sort of like takes a glass of the wine that he's drinking and sips it, and he sort of like does this little pout with his mouth to sip it. It's an uncommon gesture. People don't usually sip like that. It's kind of like his doing like his speaking in French, like he's the pout thing. And
Does it look like a grimace at the taste?
No. Seems like he's enjoying it. Just seems like a weird way to have and incidentally that makes the wine sort of fall like straight into his mouth, like through like in a narrower space in the front, rather than being more
Oh,
evenly.
okay, I get it. He's kind of
Is
like
there a
running it
reason to
past
drink
his.
like that?
He-
Are you asking like out loud?
I think my Zelch. Okay, whatever. Go.
Lily's never seen somebody drink a beverage like that before in her life, and she doesn't understand what's happening.
And just blurts it out loud. I love it. Never mind. This is great.
He kind of like catches himself, like almost spits.
I'm sorry, I don't know if that's rude.
Oh,
Is that like a fancy? Is that how you're supposed to drink wine? I've really only had wine like a couple times. But I didn't know. Is that like the way you're supposed to drink it? Did I do it wrong?
Luna drinks wine. Does she know?
is there something wrong with the way I drink?
No,
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
I
She
don't.
grew up in a very small town, and this is her kind of first time out and about. in the
Lily just
world.
blushes and puts her face in her hands and like puts her finger on the table.
Well, am I drinking different from anyone here? I don't. What?
I mean, Luna drinks. I don't. If it's brought to her attention, you might think about.
Is it like
Was
a
he
fancy
drinking
way to
weird?
drink wine?
Was there like a specific way he was drinking? History? Oh, I don't know.
Not his. Well, I guess now that it's been brought to your attention that perhaps he was drinking in a different way, like everyone can sort of like think on it, like, huh? Well, if you want to, I'm not gonna let everyone roll for it, but I'm gonna let like a maximum of 2 people roll an intelligence check, just unskilled, to try to just figure out what's going on. Like, it's sort of like this is an intelligence check to have me just tell you the answer. Right?
Lily is now too embarrassed.
Like tell you the logic behind it. But you can still like try to guess and figure it out on your own if you wish. But anyway, up to 2 people, like unskilled intelligence check to figure it out.
I wasn't sure if there was like something to it. I think Luna was just kind of like, oh, was he drinking in a specific way? Is there a reason to drink in that way? If it was brought to her attention, she just think, I'm not sure.
Noah reads a lot of books. Hey, Luna and Noah roll for us. Oh no!
Oh no.
Luna
Yeah,
Wait,
was
that's a
too-
throw.
is too distracted trying to imagine
Same
how Lucina
thing.
would drink wine.
Wait, I thought Luna had high intelligence.
I have a +5. I rolled a 1, dumbass.
she does,
Yeah,
she does have high intelligence, but sometimes that's not enough.
It's
Yeah,
a
Noah
saving
reads a lot of
throw?
books. He's got this.
It's
No,
it's just an unskilled intelligence check. Are you gonna roll as well?
For the heck of it. Not that I'm
You
gonna
have
say
advantage.
something. Oh. Nice.
You can't really put your finger on like what the reason for it would be, but also, to everyone else, if you like actually put your mind to it, it does seem a little strange the way he drinks it. But to you, Noah, it doesn't actually seem that strange.
Eat just like me for real.
You look at it and you're kind of like, you know what, I can see. Like, yeah, that seems like a good way to drink wine.
This is such a weird thing.
Describe it to me once more.
He was drinking it, sort of like doing like a little pout. And then pouring the wine in. So like the wine was flowing in a very narrow.
Like he was sticking out his bottom lip, pouring it in, and letting it run past his teeth as it went to the rest of his mouth.
Yeah, sort of. Like it's almost like he was trying to form like a natural straw, with his mouth. Like kind of like limit the path that the wine is flowing through, rather than having the wine come in through like the entirety of the opening formed by his mouth.
I'm trying to piece together why that might be sus. Is it teeth? I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything about it. Yeah. I'm just gonna take the information and I'm gonna. Honestly, I'm not even gonna think about it. This
think-
seems irrelevant. I'm like, yeah, fine.
I think at the very least, to spare his feelings, Luna will sort of take her glass. She's like, well, I was always told to drink with the pinky out. I don't know why, but my master was quite strict on the policy whenever we drank, especially on formal occasions. So just like take a sip.
Don't mind me, I'm just gonna die of embarrassment here.
Oh, sweet.
Don't worry, darling. You're good. You're good. It's fine. But well, matters of my manner of drinking wine aside, there's someone else that I could maybe point out to you that I think has like caught my attention. His name is Deimos Maximoff. This is kind of like an old money kid. He's not a kid anymore. He's like 30 now. But he has a little bit of a reputation for liking to indulge in a lot of things. A lot of things. And, you know, I've seen him here and there. Not necessarily doing the same things that he was doing, but I've seen him. But lately I've noticed he has been a bit absent. Just haven't seen him around much. And that's a bit odd. He used to cause all sorts of troubles. So, I mean, you know, not that I have, again, not accusing them of anything, but it's that old, like, see something, say something. And I just, maybe you could look into it. Maybe if you go to that party.
He's been taken to the asylum, do you?
I mean, maybe, but I figured it would be a little hard for them to justify bringing a notorious individual and one that has money in him to the asylum, unless it was really, really. So, not sure, but it could be. Now that we're talking about it, that asylum is a little creepy. It was established around, some 200 to 300 years ago, as a way of dealing mostly with mental afflictions and the like, though they started opening an infirmary for physical maladies like a century ago too. 115 years to be exact. The institution has been mostly run with money by the Temple of Hastia, hence the name, Hearth Flame Asylum. It pays homage to the goddess's whole heart motif.
The way I was hoping Noah would like ADHD blurt out. Did you see it when it was back then?
Nah, that was old Noah.
Well, you see that there are quite a few institutions, such as the Hearth Flame Asylum, and also the city's orphanage, which are funded entirely or partially by the Temple of Hastia. The library as well. I guess it's just their way of giving back to the community, I suppose. But still, it's been ran by their money. In recent times, it feels like some of those institutions have dwindled a bit, but support for the asylum has been going steady for like forever, basically. And, well, there are some stories of people who have had a stay there, a pleasant one, and were discharged eventually, but kind of feels like I haven't heard one of those in the last 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. At this point, it feels more like the second graveyard of the people. Only people that go there are being buried alive rather than dead.
Hmm. Well, you've certainly given us a lot to think about. Luna kind of looks to Rala. We should probably get this one back to the orphanage. We said we'd look around there for her. Kids getting nightmares, things like that. So, figure we'll take a look around the streets before we take her back.
Oh, you're stopping with your investigations for today then?
What time
Just
is it
brief.
currently?
Later.
Be like around 10, 11.
PM?
Oh, I thought we were leaving at like 11, so it'd be closer to midnight now.
I thought you were leaving a little earlier, but that works as well. Could be close to midnight.
Yeah, I think it all works out for what she said anyway.
So, you guys intend on quitting it for today?
I think so. You've given us a lot to think about. And we had prior plans with this little one. Just to give the kids some ease of mind.
Well, that makes sense. Little Missy can't be out and about that late, huh? Although, well, I guess that makes it a little difficult to hunt vampires, right? I mean, as far as I know, most of them don't like sunlight.
I thought we had to bring roll back by noon.
I'm
That is the case.
lying.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay. This is 100%. I was like, wait.
I'm trying to get out of here. I'm lying.
Love it. That's so good.
Do you think that's what we're on the trail of? More vampires?
Well, seems like it. I mean, it's kind of every story reading needs a running theme, right? Maybe that's yours.
I kind of already know the answer, so do I need to roll for it? Does he seem like he's like, yeah, obviously I know they're hunting vampires. That's what's out here, or is he just like guessing at it?
You're gonna roll an insight check.
Okay.
Again, same sort of feeling that he is, that he already kind of knows more than he's letting on. And he's sort of like, there is a sort of an excitement even in the way he says like every story needs like a motive.
Like a motif?
Yeah, a motif. Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of like, it needs sort of like a theme. Maybe that's yours.
I have a crazy crackpot theory now. One I'm like almost positive is not real, but like it would be insane.
Feel it.
I'll say it after session.
Okay. It's an out of character.
Sorry, so we've decided not to continue investigation tonight, right?
Well, that's what we're telling you.
No, I'm
No.
lying.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're lying.
Linus told him, and then
That's
to
what the lie
recap
was about.
to recap
Yeah.
the conversation, and then he said something about that it would be hard to hunt for vampires only during the day because most of them don't seem to like sunlight. Someone asked him if he thought that was what they were dealing with, and then the last thing that was said in the conversation was him going that that seems to be like a running theme with you guys, and every story needs like a kind of a motif.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, then
And
we'll keep an eye out, but hopefully we don't have to deal with any vampires.
Well,
prepare for the worst, as they say.
I hope you're.
Where should we find you if we ever want to get a invitation to one of those parties?
Well, I don't usually much in the working hours. So, well, if I'm not here, then if you ask the bartender here, he's probably going to know where I went to next. I'm gonna make sure to keep him posted or something. It's, I don't want to only give one fine establishment in the city my patronage. Once we are done here, I'm probably gonna hop on over to somewhere else. But since we have a sort of arrangement now, I'm going to make sure to keep them updated on my trajectory. For you guys. Only, of course.
Can we exchange phone numbers?
Well,
Much appreciated. We'll check the bars for you then.
Indeed. So now, and he turns to Noah like, hey, maybe now I am your sidekick.
That's.
The
I mean, if you don't mind.
It would be my pleasure. Like I said, it's important to have all sorts of characters in the story, and if in this case I am the side character who's just a knowledgeable fellow who you consult to for rumors and information on the city, then I'm happy to play part.
Are you going to write a story about this?
I mean, probably, once the whole affair is over and done with. I find that, when you write stories, it's good to have a basis on real events, on real things that you or people that you've known have experienced, and dash it with a sprinkle of the fantastical or use words to give it a certain flair that when the story is retold, it just doesn't have the drama that those who were living and experienced. So you need to touch it up a little bit. But like I said, every good fiction has some reasonable basis in known fiction. And that makes all the difference.
Guys, this is huge. We're going to be in a book.
Luna sort
I'm
of.
happy for you. I hope they write your character well.
I'm happy
Those
you're
are-
happy.
Why are you saying they like I'm not here? I'm the one who's writing the book.
Every author sometimes has co-authors or helpers.
I
Editors.
would never. I don't need editors. Everything I write is golden.
That's true. But if you do need any help, I mean, I don't mean to overstep, but I've been studying your work for a long time. I'm confident I could help you out.
That's great to hear. If I need any advice, any input, or someone to proofread my manuscripts, you know it.
Hell yeah.
Right. Well, let's be on our way.
One last thing. Have you've met with my daughter? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, briefly.
Does she seem like she's doing fine? Is she eating well? Getting enough sleep?
She
I mean,
looked
no
like the
offense.
most.
I mean, no offense when I say this, but your daughter is incredibly hard to read.
She looked like the most impressive person in that room, though. If that
That is true.
means anything.
Well, as long as she is just like she always is. I guess that's good enough. Well, thank you.
Hmm.
Just
This Damn it, I wish. See, this is the one thing I wish you made an insight check on.
Hmm.
When he says that, does it seem as if that is something that does it feel like when he says that he feels as if that's something that might have changed or something that might have like she like might have gotten worse for some reason recently? Like in his head, does it feel as if he is almost expecting her to be less than her best right now?
roll an insight check.
See, look,
There
you can do it
is-
all on your own.
There is a noticeable concern on his face. Like he is worried about her. Also like a little bit of a grimace. Like his a little conflicted about the matter, but he's still like genuinely worried about her.
Mm. Okay.
Well, just if you are around her during this investigation, well, just be good friends to her, I guess. Alright?
Mizell will give him a bow as they kind of head for the door and says, "Have a good night. Don't let the vampires bite."
Don't say that out loud, man, but yeah. Good night to you all, too. Good luck with whatever is next on your plate.
Yeah.
The
Well,
moment he's gone.
Mizell, what the hell was that about?
I don't trust him.
He knows way more than he will let on. We did not give him any new information tonight. Did you notice that he said he only goes out at night?
Are you saying he might be a vampire too?
Hard to say. He doesn't look like one, and I couldn't detect any magic on him that would obscure his features, but he knows way too much.
How far gone is he?
Like
he
would not
guys
have said
left the
started-
building that he was in.
Yeah.
Okay. We left. Okay. I'm gonna wordlessly turn around, and I'm gonna walk back into the booth, and I'm gonna just like wave at
Wait.
him and be like, "Yep, I'm inside."
So fully just left the party, turned back around.
Yep.
Do we
Where are
let
you going?
So I go inside.
I don't understand what he's doing.
Oh,
I
He's
go
leaving.
inside.
He's leaving us and going
Yeah.
back inside.
Oh, there he went.
Just
Where
really
are
quickly.
you going? Get back here.
I'll be back.
He's still
No,
inside
where
then,
you
I
going?
understand, right?
Where are you
Yeah,
going?
he's still inside. He's
Yeah.
like drinking
Yeah.
something.
So I'm gonna rush back in, and I've left a book there that he signed. So I'm gonna rush back to the book and say, "Holy, almost forgot about that." And as I look at him, I'm going to activate my Mystic Eyes, and I'm going to use my diagnosis. I think that's the correct one. Diagnosis should do the trick. Alchemist's Eye looks good as well. Actually,
Just do
Alchemist's
all of
Eye
it
should just
nighttime.
Alchemist's Eye should just work. Non-living substance. I don't know if you would consider a vampire to be such a thing. But
I
I'm
wouldn't say
using-
that. Yeah. I wouldn't
But
say
I'm using diagnosis regardless.
When I said non-living substance, I was thinking mostly about like oozes and
Right.
creatures that are, substances, but also living things. I didn't mean like, oh, it works on undead.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because you
Feels
also
like this is creating like a whole like sort of commentary. It's just like non-living, but they move and eat.
Yeah, because you
DM.
also specified construct and ooze afterwards, so that's why I was confused. But regardless, diagnosis anyway, and I'd like to see whether I can determine whether this man is vampire like me. Not like
Okay.
me. But like apparently my, what do I call that? My
Y'all are
real
something.
body? Yeah.
Okay. Ping the ability for me.
I'm gonna ping the whole thing.
Yes. Oh boy, that's a lot of stuff.
Do we know that Mizell is a vampire? So that's something I know.
He looks
Myself?
much more like one now.
Like a character, I know. Out of character, I know what you did, but in character, I'm just like, do I know what you did?
Um,
You haven't seen him drink any blood.
so you're using diagnosis, right?
Yes, that's the only active one that I have here right now. Because I'm not being targeted by an attack, I don't have to make a save, so analysis does work. Alchemist's Eye would work if vampires counted as such. The charms are necessary, so diagnosis is the one.
Oh yeah, it works on constructs and oozes, yes. Because they're technically kind of, yeah. But no,
Yeah.
it wouldn't work on undead.
Okay.
Anyway, you glance at him, and immediately your red, sort of like vampire, vampiric eyes that you have gotten from Selena begin scanning his face and peer into his body, taking in all of his features and so forth. That's not, I don't know. Taking in all of his features. First of all, roll me an insight check. Okay, you don't sense anything unusual. Kind of that insight check did not quite meet what I was thinking about. But regardless, you analyze his body, and first of all, it's functioning quite well. There are no signs of it being intoxicated in any way. Even though you had met him supposedly for having been too drunk to continue drinking, as you look at him, the alcohol flowing through his body just sort of like seems to have entered and been properly metabolized and is just fine. There are no signs of him having any difficulty sleeping or any sort of diseases or anything. His body looks completely fine. In fact, it does look to be running very, very perfectly.
Suspiciously perfectly? Like too good? How old is he? Older, right?
You know that he is supposed to be about 55, 56.
Okay.
He is, according to his biography, which is certainly read, he's full-blooded Huron, so he doesn't have any mixed blood of a longer-lived race, and you can sort of see in his face as well. He has like Huron traits, and his hair is slightly gray, and then he already has like some wrinkles and like a bit of like laugh lines and those sorts of things. Inspecting his body, however, as you sort of like do this analysis, you see no diseases, no difficulties of any organs working. His heart is pumping strong. Seems hale and healthy, not intoxicated in the slightest. No sleep deprivation of any sort, of any kind. Even though he has like some bags under his eyes, it doesn't seem to be actually representative or anything on a biological level.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very
Did you privately roll on that way?
Yes.
uh,
Scared the
bro-
shit out of me.
yeah, privately rolled an at 20.
That's so funny.
I jumped
Roll a-
so high.
Roll a medicine check using your intelligence.
Okay. I'm then. Let's see, medicine. I
If
am.
you do the shift click, you can tell it which ability to use.
Oh, dead ass.
Yeah, if you shift click on medicine, you can change
Ooh.
it to intelligence instead of wisdom.
Sick. That's beautiful.
Huh.
Un.
Do you want to use your Oh wait, no, you used all your things jumping off a building.
You didn't use all of them, but
Yeah, he has some. He has more charges of it, I think.
How? Who, me?
your chronal
But-
shift thing.
It
No, I
doesn't.
have inspiration.
Actually,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
gave everybody
Maizel's looking in the door at this point, and could probably see him struggling to like get a grasp on the guy.
You don't know what I'm
And-
doing.
That's sort of a
maybe.
That's sort of a
Get
stretch.
out of
Okay.
town.
He's really just looking.
I didn't even tell you what I was doing. I
Regardless,
do have
Maizel is holding the door open, looking at him like, "What's going on?"
I do have inspiration. So is
Okay.
that a reroll?
Yeah, you can reroll it.
Okay. What was it? Medicine.
With intelligence.
Holy kill me, bro.
Inspiration is a sham. There's no point to it.
Inspiration
Well-
is so troll. Give
Is there
me
anything
a
else you
second
wish to use?
to think.
Okay.
How important is this? This is essentially for me to gauge whether I feel that these bodily functions are representative of a Huron in their 50s.
If you use the extra charge to cast Identify, does that tell you like what creature type he is if he actually is Heroarn?
I don't think there's an
Huron?
extra charge, no?
Identify. Yeah, you can cast Identify them as part of the same thing
Yeah.
with an extra charge.
Yeah.
That would tell him any
Oh, an
spells
additional.
or magical
Yeah.
effects affecting the person.
Yeah, it wouldn't really tell me what they are. And you
Oh,
had
okay.
Detect Magic up already, so I don't think I'd get anything new.
Mm-hmm.
But am I in the right when I say that's what the roll is for? I know you kind of prompted me without telling me, but
Yeah,
am
it's sort of to interpret the data that your eyes are acquiring for you.
Mhm.
Sort of like your eyes are doing the field work. Now it's time for your brain to do the lab work.
God damn, brother. Like, if we truly are going into the graveyard, chronal shift is important.
How many of those you got left?
One.
Oh my
Shit.
god.
He gets 2.
I get 2, I have 1.
Does it recover on long or short rest? Because we did
Long.
short rest. Damn it.
Long. I know this. That's all. I was just like, oh.
I think I'm gonna let it go and make my own deductions here. Because if we really are going into the graveyard, then I want to preserve that chronal shift.
Well, we
It's-
did say we might do the graveyard another night, but we didn't.
I thought
decide.
we were lying to the guy.
No, before even that, or like we went. Oh, actually, no. Noah didn't hear that part. Maizel said we don't have. It's a Iluna. We don't have to do this tonight. If we go with him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Yeah,
think it
up to
changes anything either way.
Yeah.
I don't know why we'd wait a whole other night to do it.
Yeah, I think at least so I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go.
Okay.
So 12 is my roll.
12 is your roll.
What do I get with that?
You look at him, and you see a perfectly functioning human body.
Mhm.
His heart seems very strong. His lungs, his stomach, his liver, everything seems to be in perfect condition. You don't recall specific anatomy to match his age to his body's physical condition. Perhaps if you lead a very healthy lifestyle, you can get to that age with a body in such pristine condition. Who knows? Certainly not you. You're like 3 years old.
Well, excuse me for being young.
But regardless, all that you see is this very, very healthy body, more muscular than you would expect to.
Okay.
And although it's not a disease, it seems like he has since I'm describing this as sort of like an X-ray, like it's kind of like he's got a little more nerves in the head than you would expect.
More nerves in the head.
Yes.
Okay. The head on his shoulders.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yes, and his and the other head is much bigger than
Oh my lord, a mushroom head.
packing.
The girth.
Yeah, does diagnosis tell you how big his dick is?
How tall is this guy? God must have put the inches elsewhere.
Fucking. Anyway, you look at him and you grab the book, like, oh my god, I almost forgot it, etc. And he looks at you and smiles warmly and says, "Those are some very pretty eyes you have there."
Ugh, my God.
Thank you. You want him?
Oh.
At that point, Maisel will just say, "Come on, Noah.
I'm
You
just
got the
joking.
book."
I'm just joking. I wouldn't be able to see anymore. I'll see you around.
And I'll turn and leave.
I'm sure you will.
And as I step outside, then to the others.
Sorry, got curious. He looks... I'm not sure if he's a vampire by any means, but he looks maybe a little bit too healthy for a Huron of this age. I don't quite know what they're supposed to look like necessarily, but I do remember that the keeper of the library was around that age, if I'm not wrong, and he looked far less healthy overall. This guy's body seems to be working impeccably. Although he is Marco Windran the legend, so maybe that makes sense.
Body is tea, for real, for real.
Body is tea, honey. But he also told me I have really pretty eyes, so I don't know if he's a little bit of a weirdo.
I mean, I
No,
think
he
we can...
caught on to the fact that you were scanning him.
What do you mean I was scanning him?
We know that those are special eyes.
I help you put them in
Yes, you did.
and take them out. Oops.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was
And-
actually kind of deeply traumatizing.
I smirk at that.
Yes, you did.
Legitimately the one that took them out, I think, actually.
I
This guy.
was like, here, hold my eye.
Yeah. Here, hold my eye. Also, can you help me take these eyes out? Is what I'm pretty sure happened that day.
So there's more to him than he lets on, really. I mean, I'm not sure if it's really enough to say that he's not trustworthy or a bad guy, really, but he's definitely more special than I even thought.
Yeah,
The
I
ol-
think we can still like, have a business relationship with him, but I think we could play some cards close to the chest.
We should be mindful what we say towards him.
I think that kind of falls for a lot of people, but I don't. Maybe I'm just jumping at shadows ever since the Elder Helga thing.
No, he knows. He knows what's going on and is hiding it very well. The
The
only
fact that
thing
he. I was gonna
only
say the fact that he.
genuine
Good. Just go ahead. Go. Fucking go. Tired.
Discord's lagging just enough that we just like paused and was like, okay. Anyway,
When you awkwardly are trying to get past somebody in a grocery store.
yeah, right. He he hides it very well, and the only genuine thing he said to us in that entire conversation was his care for his daughter. That's why I tried to get through to him using her, but so he's either he's definitely in on it and is either maybe not a part of it, but hiding it.
And why is he asking us about his daughter as opposed to knowing how she's doing?
Well, you know that not everyone is close with their parents, so it's possible that there's something going on there.
Yeah,
But
that's also what makes me.
he also could be
Curious.
trying to hide whatever he's up to from her, since she's quite the perceptive and formidable individual.
Did I ask her or just mention to her that we met her dad?
I think we could
It's-
maybe mention that we met him, but
Yes, next time we speak with her, we should definitely ask her about him.
I
Yeah, you're
can
at-
mention it right now.
it's 11 o'clock at night. You could also let that poor lady sleep.
Do you think she sleeps at 11?
I hope she's getting some rest at some point.
I doubt it, but I can wait. I have all the time in the world after all.
Why do you guys say it like that?
It's true. I didn't mean anything by it.
Anyhow.
As for
Ru-
the rest of our mission, before we were interrupted by that interesting conversation, I definitely don't think we should go just barging in. I think we should look for activity from above, similar to how Noah and I did before. But I could scope it out and then let you know, and we can decide how to enter from there.
I mean, I could probably just carry anybody over the wall that can't get up there themselves.
We do have to be careful of patrols, but yes.
Yeah.
And, well, there's that guard at the front, but Luna said she'll deal with it, right?
Let's
I
go
mean,
to the.
if we want to investigate, we should just send familiars in.
Let's go to the orphanage, and then Noah's familiars and/or I can go over the wall and take a look before we do decide how to approach.
I could send a couple familiars down the stairs. That
That
should
is
be easy
true
enough.
if we're looking, but those are also noticeable. You can't hide them, can you?
Well, no, but I can make them look like just a mouse.
True. Okay, so, and I'm assuming where was the bar that he took us to?
It's on the way from your house to the city gates, since that's what you were sort of.
Because our house was kind of like up here somewhere by the
it's
library.
kind of like around here.
So we were at the bar, so then we're just going to continue.
Oh, we're by
out
the
to
library.
orphanage.
Yep.
It's
Ooh.
closed, Noah. I know they'll let you in at any hour, but we're on our way to a mission.
Well, I worry about him sometimes, but it's okay.
And so at this point, I guess I'm kind of assuming we'll probably be like nearby the orphanage at the wall, and So Mizell will say, I will go invisible, and you can send some familiars as well to check out down below the stairs, and I'll scout above.
As you
What is your
guys,
plan if they can see invisibility?
Nope the hell out right back here.
there is no plan.
Plan
Okay,
B
but
is there is
as you
no
guys
plan
approach
B.
the orphanage, we're gonna call it for today. As you guys
Okay.
essentially
Alright.
continue going to where you originally intended to go, because we are reaching that point of time.
Mm,
Ugh,
I'm gonna scroll through the chat log and see how many insight checks I rolled.
so many.
I
A lot.
hate insight checks. Spent 2 hours telling me shit I knew.
I mean,
He's weird. Good to tell you he's weird. I knew he was weird after the 3rd check. How do you know so much shit?
Right?
Why are you so involved in everything?
Nine.
And then also somehow not involved. Okay.
you guys are local.
No.
Nar.
Why are you so
Nar.
invested in all of it?
Nar.
We
The
still need a
double Nar
prolonged
earlier
Rala
killed me.
Lilia conversation and see who has a fucking stroke first.
Nar, 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 nar.
No, I don't know what you mean by that.
Nar.
No.
That was our. I didn't know if it would take the whole session, but that was our session of talking to renowned author Marco Windranen.
Can we say that I shared the bit of information I had about the rune with the party also before this bar situation happened?
Yeah, of course.
I'd probably
Yeah,
mention it to
so-
Rollo, actually.
I would have shared it just with everybody, and that what Mizell found was a special kind of rune that seems to be related to transformation, and that it's pretty rare to find one that's so well done.
They're turning the whole town into a transmutation circle.
Everyone's
actually
friends
makes sense.
here.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Country is
Son
circle.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm tired of everyone claiming that my whole campaign is just Final Fantasy, and I decided to just make it Full Metal Alchemist instead. Because fuck you, that's why.
You're so
Well,
right. That's
it's
so
not
true.
just Final Fantasy. It's Final Fantasy and also the one with the devils, Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man.
Monster Hunter.
I almost call it Devilman Crybaby half the time.
That's the one. So
we
who's
would
gonna
need a
nuts all
little
over
bit more
the
sick EDM music if we were gonna also have a.
yeah? And who's gonna come all over their ceiling?
Bro,
Also, we
I-
need to invest in a running budget.
Start training.
Zinc for everybody.
We'd have to invest in a running budget.
Let it rip, cunts.
A running
Get a
budget.
little extra saline.
My God.
No.
I'm gonna cast Frost Fingers through my penis.
I don't even. Bruh.
And that's a wrap.
Go.
I mean,
That's definitely a wrap on this session.
Aluna is like one step away from a womb tattoo. Like, it's really close.
All right, Naruto.
Oh, Nar. Now
Oh,
they know
Nar.
now they know we're
Clear the water.
degenerate. Oh no, they know we're degenerate now.
Oh no! As if
Wasn't
that's
obvious.
not how every session goes for at least 5 minutes. Minimum.
I should have stopped recording about 10 minutes
Wait,
ago.
maybe Ether Lens is better. That's even funnier. I fucking
my
ripped
God.
that ceiling
What
to
color is
shreds.
your ether?
White.
Colors are,
Little
Do you have
milky
color
white.
spray?
Oh my God.
No, wait. No, it just jizzes snow.
yeah.
You just coat of cold, but you make a coat of cum.
That's in the
Love it.
sex expansion.
Yeah.
It's in that
That's
girl's
so
It's the
breeding
new
rule.
Nymphomancer subclass for wizard.
Oh no,
Oh,
no,
I
no!
need-
It's in that girl's
need-
breeding rules, guys.
Girls
Dude,
reading
I've
books?
been face palming for like 5 minutes now.
You know the one I'm talking about. It was the one.
I know,
No,
I
but I
know,
can imagine it.
I know. Power word breed.
Oh,
Yo,
that's a
that
pretty
girl
good
need to
one.
get. That girl need
Oh,
to get
man.
loaded so bad.
Ooh.
That's
Nice
a
cock.
pretty good one. Nice.
Nice cock.
Nice.
Nice.
Love it.
That's
Look,
that's
guy-
Noah using
nice
diagnoses on
cock.
people.
This is us at the end of the session.
Wait, one day Noah just scans Myzel's body with his mystic eyes to see if he has a bigger cock.
He's smaller than me, so I win.
That means nothing.
You're a homunculus. Do you even have one?
I can
Oh
reshape it.
shit!
No, he's a homunculus.
Homunculus! Stop it!
That's so good. Canon.
Homunculus.
I'm cracking myself the fuck up tonight, Jesus.
Well,
Ooh.
I've been looking for a new last name, so here we go.
No, a homunculus.
No, homunculus.
No.
You
Noah,
can't stop him.
homunculus, Westergaard.
Years. Oh,
Got the new
life's
name.
great when you're hilarious.
Real
Life's
shit.
great when you're hilarious. The shit I have to put up with.
Homunculus is the funniest shit ever.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
God, your name is so long now. Just
is
like
really
your
long.
cock.
Oh.
God damn it! I saw that one coming.
Did you know?
I'm really upset
know
that
it.
you called.
He didn't cast subtle spells, of course you did.
Peeping Tom over here rolled insight on that one too.
Insight, did you actually come?
Can I tell you guys my crack?
Oh
My
my god,
crackhead theory?
Dirty sex. Did you come?
Yeah. Ooh.
No,
The girls.
fake it,
Deception check.
bitch.
Deception check. Deception check. Deception check.
Ooh.
Deception check at advantage. He wants to believe it.
Wait, what?
I was saying the girls are rolling
You said
deception.
believe. I thought you said bleed, and I was like, well, knife play. Hello.
Listen, you guys don't know Luna. You don't know her at all.
I would not be remotely surprised. You can only have so many daggers before knife plays on the table.
Listen, literally engraved on the knives, it says a knife for each of your problems. Take that as you will.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one.
Well,
No, problems.
Maybe it
poorly
is.
bitchless.
What is your crackpot theory?
Unfortunately,
Also,
Aluna's
I'm making a,
bitchless.
I'm creating a poll right now.
A poll? Whoever
Who
and
has-
All
who has
odds
the-
are completely
Oh.
normal, man.
It's gonna be
Okay,
who has the
can I
bigger
tell you
penis.
one of my crackpot theories?
Sure.
He loves his. I feel like his love for his daughter is genuine on some level. He's obsessed with stories. I was like, what if he's orchestrated this whole thing so she can like become a hero of this city, like she can save the city, and it's like a story he could write about her. Some insane shit like that. Like, I love her so much. I love her so much. I want her to be a legend.
Like fully going Haruhi Suzumiya on this shit.
Listen, Rala has some weird shit too. Like fucking like I don't know what's that like the weird stuff that people are seeing. I don't know what's happening. Like imagination seems to be going on. Ghosts.
Daka,
Like
can I insight check you?
I feel like you guys are constantly trying to do that anyway.
We're
I'm
just
not.
like saying the most crackpot shit and be like, what's gonna stick? What's gonna stick?
It's good that we're not like playing in person, because then I just have to keep quiet, you know? Like I don't have to also monitor my facial expressions to not give anything away in case you guys get something hilariously wrong and I'm like, pfft. Or in case you get something right and I'm like, shit.
You can
I
just
say
sit there
something
we're
and I
like-
just stare at you.
Yeah, like
I just
if
stare at your icon in Discord sometimes. Be like, is there gonna be a sound
and
impression?
that's happened in real life already. Like some of my player like just guessed the plot point like out of nowhere, and I had to like do a poker face. Like I don't know, man. Like who knows?
Against all odds, a completely normal man is my favorite.
Who the
I mean
fuck
that's the
was that?
thing, right? The fact that you guys all have caught on to suspicious vibes from him doesn't actually mean there's anything going on.
I just
Game
don't
is
believe
Bullshit.
it.
fine.
Listen, I had suspicious vibes the last time, and I didn't act on them. And what happened?
That's
was
actually
like-
kind of true. You suspected something was up with Johanna, and she fucking died.
I tried so fucking hard. I was like, "Are you sure you want to talk to her alone?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, I'll do." And I'm just like, I don't want you to do that. And then we left her, and I'm just like,
Yeah, that's the thing. If you insisted on going with her, probably could have.
I know.
Idle. Sorry, wait, actually, I should just message Idle. I don't want to interrupt. Continue. My bad.
What?
Never mind. I wanted to ask Idle, but then I interrupted. And I interrupted anyway, but continue. My bad.
Oh, I didn't have anything else. I was just gonna lament a little bit more. Just like I don't want that to happen again. Where I was just like, you know what? Instead of just going with my gut and being like, this person's weird, or this situation's weird, and then acting on it, I'm just like, well, I'm already committed to doing something else, so I guess I won't. I'll never let that happen again.
Fellas, it has been great. We have results for our poll. We are tied for a non-vampire supernatural creature, and against all odds, a completely normal man. Got one vote
Who
for a
voted
human
with
who's
me?
up to some shady shit, and literally no one thinks vampire.
Me and Idol on on board. I just like the idea that he's just like it just would amuse me the most that if Maisel sat there inside checked that man 13 times in a row and we can't and all that happened is he's a normal dude, I am literally going to ask you to throw away that skill check. Because it means nothing.
Delete insight from the game.
Yes.
Petition.
And I mean that shit with my whole chest. If he is just a guy. Because he rolled 32, 32, 27, 32, some other stupid numbers. And all we came away with was he's kind of weird.
He's just a bit of a freak like that.
He's kind of weird. If you think about it, that's what we came away with. He's kind of weird. We don't know why. He loves his daughter. We think.
Probably.
Possibly. Like 90% probably. 10%, is it weird?
Well, but
I'm telling you.
guys
I tell you, if he is a normal man, you have to delete that skill from the game.
this guy's
Because
so angry about it.
It means nothing then.
So mad.
I'm so serious. You should really, honestly, you should have kept this so I could crash out in real time and I could hear it back. Because I literally, this is just like 10% crash out. If he's just a normal fucking dude and I find this out like 3 months later, I'm going to crash out on stream in the most fucking inane. You will have to delete the VOD, Idol. We'll drop
Right at it.
so many N-words, so many slurs. And I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna tell everyone I'm white. I'm a white man saying all these things.
Or chaos.
He's gonna end it with, and I'm white.
And by the way,
White, by the way.
The caucasity.
The caucasity!
The
Sidebar?
caucasity of it all.
sidebar, I'm low-key a little upset that Aluna's name finally got called out for the fairy tale shit that it is. It is such a little kid, I named myself name, and that irks me that it was called out by this man.
I
He
mean, you don't
called
get
me
called
the
a basic
villain.
bitch, so.
I'm an irrelevant billboard, alright?
Irrelevant billboard.
I was about to throw hands with him just during the introduction. I was waiting for an opportunity.
I knew somehow he's gonna call you basic the second I was like, ooh, elm. It's just a tree. It's
Yeah, it's
I
very
took it under
village
the
girl.
implication that it was maybe somebody trying to pick up a new identity in a town that they had just got to, and they made up a new last name when they got there.
That's deep.
hey,
Yeah.
it worked.
Guys, I'm gonna peace, but GG.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna
Fun sesh,
go
gang.
It's been real. It's been great. We'll see each other next week.
Farewell.
Yee.
Bye.
Like.
Wait.